and welcome to episode 6 of Ask Yaritza. Are you election ready? Today is a very special day because I not only have one guest with me, I have three special guests. I have Naima, who's 11, I have Garvey, who's 12, and I have Sofia, who's 9. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
Hi.
you're welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience today?
Sure. Hi, I'm Naima.
I'm Garvey.
I'm Sofia.
Hey, and honestly, I just want the audience to know this is not my first time interacting with Naima, Garvey, and Sophia, but I just needed to bring them on the show because they're election ready. And so I just want to get straight into this. If you haven't met Naima, Garvey, or Sophia yet, you should know they're the host of the podcast Let's K-12 Better. And honestly, I'm all into the podcast. So on episode 23 of their podcast, they not only discussed the debates, but they touched on the election. So I want to dig deep into that. So Naima, Garvey, and Sophia, what do you have to say about tomorrow's election? If I was your teacher and I had to actually vote, what kind of advice would you give me?
The advice. Oh,
You can go.
the advice that I would give my teacher would be like just to vote. Make sure that you read the ballots so that you make sure that you know who you're actually gonna vote for based on knowledge.
Okay, so we definitely have to make sure that we read the ballot correctly, right?
Yes.
Garvey,
Sorry. Also, making sure that you research your candidates before you go mail in your ballot or you go up to vote at your school or wherever you go to vote. It's very important to do that because most people they just vote for people just because, but doing that isn't very impactful or helpful because it's basically voting for something that you don't know what it is.
I agree.
Yeah, like Garvey said, you have to be an informed voter, and you can't just go like randomly just bingo wheeling like your candidate that you're gonna vote for because that might not turn into the outcome you want it to.
So you guys gave like great advice. When I was your age, I did not even think about voting, which is like probably surprising, right? But I was an immigrant, and in order to vote in the United States, you have to be a citizen. So my family, we actually never really discussed elections. It wasn't until I actually became a citizen, which was after college, that I was able to vote and I was able to engage in the voting process. So I wanted to go back to the episode because you guys touched on the idea of ads, right? And so when you're running for president, when you're a presidential candidate, you create ads that might hinder or support your opponent. You guys touched on the idea that, there's some ads that we probably shouldn't really pay attention to or take serious. We should do our own research. So are there any particular sites that I should look at when doing research?
Well, I mean, off the top of our head, I don't think we really know any. But what we do know is look for websites and and videos and stuff like that you know are going to be informative. Make sure like there's some basic things you should look for. Like make sure it's certified by the government because if I feel like if it's certified by the government, then it's been through a lot of like research and stuff like that.
Editing.
Yeah, and make sure that it has data that just okay. Sorry, let me restart.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that the website that you're looking at, you look at other websites to compare information. And I feel like the website that has something that sounds more informative or truthful, or that sounds like it's true, or like that, you should look on it. But yeah, I don't know anything off the top of my head.
While Garvey was talking, I thought of something. You can also watch, like, even though it's like almost the elections, like it's almost like, and right now people are voting, you can still go back to like the debates and the town halls that we had from this year, and like you can because those are like straight what they were saying. So it's not like it was altered or you don't know if it's true or not. Like this is the actual thing that they explicitly said. And that's really important when you're trying to decide like who you're going to vote for, because it gives you a solid like of their beliefs or what they might be running to like help different causes like that.
So I'm glad you touched on the debates. I know you were all watching the debates just like all of America. And for me, my experience was just, oh, I gave my students an assignment and I just know for sure they're probably like, Miss V set me up. She should have never made me watch this debate. So, what kind of advice would you give to a person who's just watching a debate for the first time and was just like, wow, is this really how a debate's supposed to go?
Um, I think that I'd give advice to people, but um, I'd say that like if you don't feel comfortable in the middle of it, maybe you should pause because and make sure that you're okay with what is happening, and if you should continue watching it or if it's too much pressure for you.
Um, the thing that you said about like, is this how a debate's really supposed to go? Um, I think a lot of people like they know that it's not supposed to go like this, but like if you're new, maybe you should look at like debates from like that were recorded from like a lot, like maybe last year's debate. I think last year's debate was a good example of a debate. I'm not really sure, I didn't watch it, but maybe just look for a debate that is formal and just ask people how it's supposed to really go, or look up the rules for a debate, like just so that you get the gist of how it's really supposed to go. Because I feel like as an American citizen, it's important to know how things are supposed to go that are shown to us. And yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Garvey. But also, we are also like this year's debates were our first debates, so we really took time to like learn about um, the different like things about like different parts of the debate. Not just like we didn't just watch the debate; we actually took it apart and like analyzed it instead of just watching it to just watch it or to just um like just to get like the first look. You want to be able to like know what how a debate's supposed to go, and that I think analyzing it is a very big part of it.
So you all gave great tips. And I'm just, usually everyone knows when I shake my head yes and nod my head yes, that means yes. And I'm just thinking of when I have debates in the classroom, I'm usually telling kids, okay, pick a side, right? Either you're for it or you're against it. But the most important thing or the most important aspect of a debate is citing evidence, right? You can't just say, I agree with everything Donald Trump is saying, or I agree everything that Joe Biden is saying without citing evidence. And so, since you guys are not voting today, if you had the opportunity, sorry, voting tomorrow, if you had the opportunity to vote for a presidential candidate, who would it be and why?
Um, I'll go first. So, I personally would vote for Joe Biden because I think that um, even though they both did a pretty good job explaining what they were gonna do. I think that Joe Biden um, was kind of more calm, in my opinion.
Okay, Sophia.
I'll go next. I would also vote for Joe Biden this year because I think that um, with him being calm during the debates and stuff like that, I think he also didn't really. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let me start over. With being calm, I think he also was telling people just to vote, even if it wasn't for him, just to vote, which I really liked because I feel like that's not. I haven't really seen any president do that unless it's for themselves. So I feel like him just saying, just go out and vote, I don't care who it is, was really good.
Okay, I hear you, Garvey.
And encouraging people to vote is also a big part of the voting process, because lots of people actually, when people actually think about it, lots of people don't vote in the first place. But yeah, also I would vote for Joe Biden, because I felt like he more explicitly stated what he was going to do, and like how he was going to do that. And I thought that was really like something I was looking for, like an explicit explanation.
Oh, I love all of your responses. And I did not mean to put you on the spot. But what I'm thinking about is the idea that, we still have the opportunity to vote every 4 years. And the one thing that remains the same is the fact that there's more than one political party that exists in America, which means folks who are Trump supporters would most likely always be Trump supporters. Those who support Republicans, those who support Democrats, they will always be in existence, right? So by the time it's your opportunity to vote, you have to be very cognizant or aware of who you're voting for and why. So now that we're actually down to the end of the session, what advice would you give to our viewers who are voting tomorrow?
One, be an informed voter. Like I stated earlier, you can't just go out like giving it a chance card, just like, oh, I'm gonna vote for this person for no reason. You kind of gotta think about it. You gotta do your research, or else it might not be as you wanted it to come out. And also just to vote for who best aligns with your beliefs and who like you think the candidate is best for you. And the last thing is go vote. Like lots of people don't vote, and we really need more people to vote, especially for an election, like especially for this election, because it's like we really need to like encourage people to vote, because if we stop people voting now, if people stop voting now, it's just going to get less and less voters as we go on, and that's not going to be a good thing, because then it might eventually become 2 people are voting and that's it.
I agree. I'm gonna add on to Naima also continue. So I'm adding on to Naima. I think to sum up what you're saying is vote to set a example for the next generation of voters. We want to make sure that our generation votes and the next generation votes and the next generation votes, because that's how America was built, off of voting, I guess. So yeah, we want to make sure that. And also, um, I know I didn't really say it well in the beginning when you asked like how can we find like trust sources we can trust. Maybe ask your friends and family who've already voted, sources that they went to research their the person that they voted for, if they voted for someone already, or the source that they're going to go to. So yeah, that's another thing that you can do.
I kind of want to add on to her, because you should ask your family and friends for advice, but like if you feel questionable of what they said, maybe you can check on the ballots or their information on other websites to see if that's actually who you want to vote for.
Oh my God, you gave me so many gems tonight. And I would also want to just add on before we close out is go out and vote, 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 vote. And I'll also share some resources with you guys on Friday during the blog post. Um, Thank you so much, ladies, for tonight. I've had a great session, and I know our audience is just taking all of your advice tonight. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank
The
you for
pleasure is
having
ours.
us.
Thank you. Bye.